Dunellen at 21-3, St. Joe's 17-6. Johnson wins the tip over Tyjae Kelton, and we are underway. Controlled by Kayshawn Schulters, the 6'4 senior heading to Villanova next year for football. He's the leading scorer for Joe's at 13 points per game. Tyree Ford has had an up and down year this year, coming off the screen. That's a three, and that's short. Unlike in previous years, Ford has made most of his bones from the outside. When he hasn't been hitting shots from beyond the arc, his scoring has dipped a little bit. Ford only averaging 8.8 per game. Nasir White under some pressure. Keeps the ball. Now it's Drew Johnson, but he steps out of bounds. Dunellen cannot afford to turn the ball over against these St. Joseph Falcons. Traditionally, they love to run the floor, create easy baskets in transition. It'll be an interesting matchup down low between Kelton and Maurice Johnson. Both similar size. Kelton, of course, a more accomplished scorer at 20 points per game. 32 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists for Kelton in the first round game. The win over Perth Amboy, 89-78 back at the Shipyard. A minute gone by here in the first. Still no breakthrough. Ford thought about the three. Now he'll fire away. Ford 0 for 2 early. Burr had it nearly stripped from him. White goes behind the back. Maybe not recommended against this type of opponent, but he gets it to Jalen Thomas, who was very impressive in the win over Perth Amboy. 17 points. He's averaging 13 a game. The junior at times has played a little reckless this year, but against Perth Amboy, it did not show. If he keeps that production up, then Dunellen has more than just a puncher's chance here tonight. Kelton will drive the lane on Ford. He's fouled by Campbell, rather, on the floor. So that's the first foul of the game. Campbell's first foul of the game. He's had a very good sophomore campaign. Amari Campbell lobbed up. Kelton gets the finish, the first two, and surely not the last two for Tyjae Kelton. Dunellen will need a healthy dose of Kelton if they are to compete in this game and perhaps win it. Here is Cody Robinson, the junior. Very smooth player is he. Ford, his third three-point attempt, and he's now missed all three. Long rebound falls to Schulters. He spins in the lane. Schulters eats the contact. They'll have 2 free throws. Kayshawn Schulters thrives as a defensive back on the gridiron, which is where he will make his bones at the college level at Villanova. He's had a very interesting high school career on the hardwood, however. Last season, his scoring production dipped considerably. As a sophomore in 2018, he averaged 12 a game, the MVP of the 2018 GMC tournament. Last season, just 8 points per game. But this year, he's stepped up his game, averaging 13, and has led the Falcons to a Red Division title at 13-1 in the division. All even at 2, 5:48 left first quarter. Down low, Kelton is fouled going up. It appears it's on Ford. And it will go against Ford. So an early dose of Kelton is so far what the doctor ordered for the Destroyers. Kelton has scored as many as 36 points in a game this year. That came against Calvary Christian. He goes 1 of 2, of course. It's hard sometimes to gauge statistics in the gold division and compare them to other divisions as Johnson loses the ball, but Schulters collects. The gold division over the years has been akin to the Arena Football League at times in terms of scoring pace. The three missed by Schulters. Ford the board. Ford misses again. Campbell will head to the line for 2. Burr will pick up the foul. Mike Burr, the junior. But Tyjae Kelton is a different kind of player to come out of the gold division. Barr picks up his first, the team's second. And Campbell hits the first of two. In the last 2 years, the title has not come easy for St. Joe's. 2 years ago in 2018, they needed a buzzer beater to win the semifinal game against Carteret and the championship game against Colonia. And last season, they trailed in both the semis and the championship game against Colonia and Piscataway, respectively, as Nasir White misses everything. Kelton comes away with it. Kelton finishes. Tajay Kelton. Joe's down the floor already. 4:50 left, and Robinson steps out of bounds. And Dunellen has the early lead. 4:51 left in the first. The Destroyers making their first appearance in Super Sunday since 1993. This is the first appearance for a Gold Division team as it's stolen away. Campbell full steam ahead. Looked like he got hit. The foul ruled on the floor. This is the first appearance for any Gold Division team in Super Sunday since 2014, where on this very floor, it was the South Amboy Governors taking on the #1 team in New Jersey at the time, the St. Joseph Falcons, led by Carl Anthony Towns, Wade Baldwin, Marcus Towns, and the like. The easy deuce for Amari Campbell. The last time the Gold Division champion made it here was 2008, when South Amboy also did it. The lob to the rim, Kelton the catch in the finish. Drawn up beautifully and executed to perfection. 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Back in 2014, South Amboy was a 25 seed and made the run right here to Super Sunday. Ford 0-5 early. Jalen Thomas. Whips it down low. Kelton will head to the line again. It's been all Tajay Kelton here in the early going. We get our first look at number 11 in red, Nasir Tippett, in for Mike Burr. Tippett, the sophomore, averaging 3.5 per game. He had 3 points and 4 assists in the win over Perth Amboy. Kelton hits the first. He is all 8 for Dunellen. Kelton scoring every point is nice, but at some point the supporting cast for Dunellen does have to step up. That includes Drew Johnson. Johnson averaging 16.5 per game. The win over Perth Amboy, 21 points on 5 made threes. Campbell will take the baseline and finish. Destroyers still up by 1. 3:15 left first quarter. Ethan Simon has checked in for Joe's. An air ball. Nasir White is denied by Schulters. Simon the other way. Schulters all the way, misses everything. Simon hit on the arm and will head the line for 2. Ethan Simon, the sophomore transfer from St. Thomas Aquinas High School. 9.8 points per game. This just his 11th appearance of the season. He scored as many as 19 points in a game. In his 10 games so far, he's been in double figures in points in 5 of them. His presence has been a huge boost for Joe's at a time where they've started to lose some rhythm. Normally, St. Joe's is rounded into form by this point in the season. Last year, a slow start for Joe's, but a raucous finish led to their 4th consecutive title. They won it last year as the 3 seed, this year the 1. Kelton, he can stroke it from outside, but so can this man, Jalen Thomas, although he misses to the left. But Joe's tips it out. 2:42 left in the first quarter, all square at 9. Johnson open in the corner. He'll drive the lane. He has it tipped away from him, stolen by the Falcons. Campbell around the perimeter. Simmons takes the baseline. Adam Slowinski in the game with the ball now, number 15 in white. .220 left in the first. It's Schulters. Slowinski. Schulters thought about the three. Now he'll take it inside. Off balance, that won't go. Tip it. Behind the back he goes. Nearly lost the ball. He did lose the ball. The pass. And now the ball stolen out of bounds. And Thomas is fouled in the backcourt. Whirling dervish for Dunellen. This is not how they should approach this game. Try to run up and down the floor. They need to have a sense of calm. Their bread and butter so far today, with 2 minutes left in the fourth, has been inside, going to Tajay Kelton. They need to get the ball up the floor in order to get it to him. Thomas picks it up under pressure. Kelton with it. Kelton backs away, 1:45 left in the fourth. Nearly telegraphed that pass to Thomas. Kelton, he can shoot that. He gets around, finds his man Tippett. He drains the triple. Off the feed from Kelton, it's Nasir Tippett. And Dunellen leads by 3, 1:20 left in the first. Schulters. Ethan Simmons will fire. Long rebound for Campbell. Schulters, he'll take the three. Nearly over the back, it's tipped to Maurice Johnson. The big man drives through. It looks like it travels going against Maurice Johnson. Dunellen catches a big-time break. On replay, it did appear that he took 3 steps. Under a minute left in the first. St. Joe's this season has struggled mightily from 3. Tyree Ford is the most threes on the team with 17. No other player on St. Joe's has double digits in threes. Think about that. Graduating Luke Fresco last year as a charge will go against Kelton. He's got to be careful to not pick up 2. 43 seconds left. He has picked up 2, in fact. My goodness, that is his second foul. He'll come out with 43 seconds left. Marquise Jones checks in. Howie Horowitz perhaps will try and survive the rest of this quarter, 43 seconds, without his star Kelton on the floor. But that is a costly, costly foul on Kelton. Simmons, Johnson inside, Schulters. Back out to Simmons. That's a 3. That barely grazes the front iron, but Joe's and Amari Campbell specifically puts it in the end. That's where Joe's will have the advantage today. Inside rebounding, especially with Kelton out of the game. 10 seconds left. Jalen Thomas will find Drew Johnson. Back out for Thomas. 7 seconds. Thomas crosses over, crosses back over. What a move by Thomas! Oh, it wouldn't go! And the buzzer sounds to end the quarter. Dunellen will begin the proceedings. Coming out of the timeout. Tajay Kelton still on the bench with the 2 fouls. How long can they keep him out? Johnson the 3. That's short. It's tipped out, however, by Joe's. Cody Robinson checks in for Joe's. Goes to Spur rather. White for Burr. In the corner for Thomas. They have to somehow find scoring with Kelton on the bench. Looked like Johnson was bumped, and the whistle comes in the end. 2 free throws for Drew Johnson will certainly help as at this point, Dunellen is just playing the survival game with Kelton on the bench. They have to find a way to maintain their lead until the point where Kelton is ready to come back in this game with the 2 fouls. Johnson hits the first. One of 2 only for Drew Johnson. The lead is 3 for Dunellen. In the corner, it's Slowinski. St. Joe's is without Miles Y. Once again, Slowinski misses. St. Joe's still has yet to make a 3, which has been a theme for them this year. Thomas stops on the wing. Again, only 1 player this season for St. Joe's, as Thomas and Johnson not on the same page. Only 1 player this year for Joe's has made double digits in 3s. That's Tyree Ford with 17. He's checked back in for Joe's. Compare that to Monroe's Andrew Turco, who has 92 threes this year just on his own, which is absolutely astounding. He is here today with his father, of course, the head coach of the Middlesex County College Blue Coats, Dave Turco, the GOAT of Middlesex County coaching. Schulters. Swung, it's Slowinski looking for Ford. He's fouled by Drew Johnson. Johnson picks up just his first. Kelton remains on the bench. 6:39 left in the second. When does Harry Horowitz put Kelton, his star, back in this game? Johnson trying to take advantage of the absence. Misses too strong. Gets it back. Finishes with ease. That's the main impact of Kelton being on the bench right there, not just on offense, but defensively, containing the likes of Mo Johnson, the 6'4" junior averaging 10 a game. The screen. Thomas working on Slowinski. Cross. Cross is back. Thomas through traffic. The dish. Burr, the lay-in. Mike Burr matches his total from the first round against Perth Amboy with 2. 6 minutes left, second quarter. Three-two zone showing here for the Destroyers, daring the Falcons to shoot. Johnson inside, over Drew Johnson, and that's no good. Thomas the other way, finds the cutting, Drew Johnson, the finish. Dunellen leads by 4, how about this? Slowinski will tee it up, and there is St. Joe's first 3-point make of this game. And they needed that one from Adam Slowinski in his 10th appearance of the season. The drive, Thomas looked like he almost got hit on the arm by Robinson, no whistle, the outlet. Slowinski wins the race to the ball, but no lane with which to operate. Schulters, big height differential right now between Schulters and Thomas on the perimeter. Ford will tee it up and miss nearly everything. Slowinski cleans it up. Howie Horowitz about to put Kelton in the game, but decided against it. At this point, you have to perhaps think about taking your chances if you're Dunellen. Nasir White out to Johnson. Johnson finds Thomas in the corner. That's a 3. That's good. Jalen Thomas from downtown. His team needed it. The lead is 2 for the Destroyers. Schulters, circus layup. That's no good. He puts it in off the rebound. 20 all. Marquise Jones coming into the game for Dunellen, not Tyjae Kelton. 4:05 left in the second quarter. Burr, classic flex play showing here for Joe's. Johnson has a look. Drew Johnson short. Cody Robinson the other way. Slowinski, he has a 3-point make already, but could not find another. Thomas, the cutting Drew Johnson, the reverse, that won't go. Horowitz still wrestling with the decision to put in Tyjae Kelton as Ford turns it over on the walk. So Marquise Jones in for Mike Burr. For the Destroyers, it's Nasir White, Drew Johnson, Marquise Jones, Nasir Tippett, and Jalen Thomas. All even at 20 apiece, 3:30 left in the second quarter. It is the second quarter, not the first. Andrew Olden is checked in, and an offensive foul goes against Dunellen. Marquise Jones picks up his first and the team's 7th. So bonus the rest of the way for Joes. Marcus Shepard is checked in for Joes, as has Andrew Olden. Olden almost got the pass. Ford collects and finishes off the deflection. So Ford on the board for the first time today. Under 3 left, second quarter. Nasir White on the drive. Thomas. He'll fade, he'll fire. It's short. Joes has dominated the glass, and now Coach Howie Horowitz will go to Tyjae Kelton off the bench with the 2 fouls. 2.5 left, second quarter. This is Cody Robinson. Amari Campbell. 3-2 zone still shows here for the Destroyers. Olden skips. That's Robinson. That's off. Ford throws it away. Johnson the steal. Drew Johnson for Dunellen. Tyree Ford was the hero here last season in the championship game against Piscataway. Today he has struggled. Thomas called for the carry. So here comes Tyjae Kelton back in this game with 2 fouls. He replaces Marquise Jones, and this is a big moment in this game. 1:51 left in the second quarter. How can Dunellen finish? How could Kelton defend down low with the 2 fouls? That could potentially determine the outlook of the rest of this game. Surely he has to be careful. I'd be shocked if Joes did not go right to Maurice Johnson this possession. Dunellen does stay in the zone. So Kelton could be hidden in the zone on defense. 90 seconds left in the first half. Shepard. Campbell. Ford. Back out. Campbell, good D so far from Dunellen. The 3 is off from Schulters. Johnson, Drew Johnson looking to run. Drew Johnson poked from behind. 1:14 left in the first half. The lead still 2 for Joes, 22-20. Tipped out again by Joes, this time by Schulters. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. If this score remains the way it is throughout the game and this game remains close, then feel free to tell all your GMC Hoops loving friends about what could be a monumental occasion here at MCC, but we have a ways to go. 1 minute left in the first half. Kelton with his first touch in the second quarter. Since picking up the second foul, Kelton guarded by Maurice Johnson. Has to be careful with the shoulder. All the way, Kelton, my goodness. He has dominated this game. 40 seconds left, all tied at 22. Johnson down low, skips. Robinson, that's a 3. That's short. Johnson, the board. Kelton can't do anything about it with the 2 fouls. And Johnson lays it in with these. Maurice Johnson for Joes. Lead back up to 2, 24-22. Defense channerizing from the Joes faithful. 12 seconds left first half. Kelton, surely this will be his shot. 7 seconds. He throws it away. Campbell all the way. Likely the last play in the first half, and it is. Not the way Dunellen wanted to end it, but St. Joe's carrying some momentum going into the break. They still lead this game only by 4 points, however, 26-22 over the champions of the Gold Division, the Dunellen Destroyers. Today, as arduous a task as it's been my greatest of pleasures. Joe's will start out with the ball. Up by 4, struggling mightily from the outside, but having to worry inside. The second foul called on Taiji Kelton was the biggest moment of this game by a country mile. Ford off the screen. Ford down the lane. Ford, the reverse, yet won't go. He gets it back. Ford nearly threw it away, saved out of bounds. Still, it's loose on the ground. Kelton has to be careful with the fouls, picked up by Schulters. Schulters to the house. Perhaps a momentum-changing play could have gone to the Destroyers, but Joe's was the one that came up with the ball. Now it's Kelton on the other end for the Dunellen. Just 1 minute gone by in the third quarter. Normally in times like this, we expect St. Joe's to pull away and really bury a team, but this is not the same St. Joe's team. Nice dish inside Kelton, but Burke can't finish. Long outlet way past Tyree Ford. And it goes back to Dunellen. Normally we'd expect to see St. Joe's make a run coming out of halftime and really put a team away, but this hasn't been the same kind of St. Joe's team offensively. They've struggled mightily from 3. The lob, Kelton going for the jam. It fell in the end. Kelton only has 1 dunk this year. That was captured by Greg Matrix of GMC Hoops. But he went for it, and while he didn't get the slam, he got the basket, which is far more important at this stage. 6:20 to go in the third. 28-24 Joe's. Campbell looking for the inbounds. Kelton, of course, has to be careful with the fouls. Dumped down low. Nice steal by Jalen Thomas. Thomas fouled in the front court. Thomas hit a 3 in the first half for his only points. He had 17 in the win over Perth Amboy on Thursday night. The winner of this game will take on South Brunswick on Wednesday night at New Brunswick High School. Drew Johnson. Kelton. He can shoot from outside, but not on that occasion. Maurice Johnson with the board. Full head of steam. Schulters right into Kelton. Good defense, staying straight up. Thomas behind the back he goes. The dish. Drew Johnson, and 1! Four straight points for the Destroyers. Ford picks up the foul. Could not get out of the way in time as Johnson landed right on Ford and went down. That's the third foul on Tyree Ford. The and 1 free throw. Johnson hits. The lead down to 1. Dunellen has scored the last 5. Schulters. Fouled by Nasir White. So White picks up his second foul. 5:36 left in the third. Joe's lead is down to just 1. They led by 4 at the break. Schulters, the all-conference performer 2 years ago, will likely be an all-conference performer again this year. The MVP of the 2018 GMC tournament. Now is the MVP of last year's GMC tournament, Tyree Ford. 4 straight titles for Joe's. They've won 9 of the last 10. Stepping back, that's a 3 for Schulters. That won't go. Off the head of Campbell in the end and out of bounds. Dunellen ball. The Destroyers can take the lead here with 5 minutes left in the third. Thomas has to be careful. Drew Johnson open in the corner. That's a 3. Schulters the other way. Ford looking down low. Maurice Johnson working on Burr. All around the world. In and out. Somehow it wouldn't go. White outlet on the other end. Thomas open for 3. And Ford in the end comes away. Campbell over Burr. That won't go. The rebound. Robinson. He lays it in. Again, Dunellen unable to take advantage of opportunities missing from outside. 4:10 left in the third. Kelton. He'll fire the 3. Kelton can hit from outside, but that's not where he needs to be right now. Ford nearly got the steal. Backcourt violation. That is a harsh call, to say the very least. Surely Thomas did not have full possession of that ball. It was originally tipped by Ford. Burr exits, tip it in for Dunellen. The lead is 3, 3:50 left in the third quarter. Schulters looking down low for Johnson, guarded by Kelton with 2 fouls. Johnson, good D by Kelton, forces the miss. Johnson with the rebound, looking to outlet. Finally he gets it to Thomas. 3:30 left in the third. Kelton on the drive. Kelton all the way. That's the strength of his game. That's what he needs to do instead of settling for 3-point shots. Tyzie Kelton continues to dominate for his team. The lead is 1. Ethan Simmons is back in for Joes. Travel whistled on Robinson. This is a fairly young St. Joe's team. Ford, the senior. Olden, a senior. Schulters, the senior. Slowinski as well. Joes will have players back next year that can carry the torch. But right now in a dogfight with the Gold Division champions, the Dunellen Destroyers. White needed to go up with that ball, and he's going to get called for the travel. As for Dunellen, Kelton is really the only player who's appeared in this game that is graduating next year. They will be moving up to the blue, but it will be a much different blue division without Carteret and St. Thomas Aquinas. It looked like that foul should have been called a second earlier on White as he reached in on Schulters, but it's called nonetheless. He picks up his third. 2:27 left third quarter. Still a 1-point game in favor of Joes. The winner takes on South Brunswick Wednesday night at New Brunswick High School. Schulters on the drive. The finish. Schulters has been operating down low. Here's Thomas. Thomas is fouled by DeMarcus Shepard. Schulters up to 8 points. Shepard picks up his first, the team's third. 2:03 left in the third. Looking for White, it's stolen by Simmons. Simmons nearly had it poked. Under 2 minutes left in the third. Schulters. Shepard back out to Schulters. The Villanova commit for football. On the drive, all the way, Kayshawn Schulters, hard to stop, if not impossible, when he has the full head of steam, so quick, so lightning fast. Lead up the Trojans of St. Thomas in the girls are romping right now to what could be their second consecutive championship. Pass inside, stolen by Schulters. Full head of steam, look at him fly! Nearly got it all. Simmon on the drive. Shepard, he walked. .118 left in the third quarter. That almost the highlight of all time from Schulters. .110 left in the third. Dunellen needs a basket. They haven't found Kelton in the post in a long time. It's Drew Johnson just missing from three. Under a minute left in the third. Olden down low, big time mismatch on Tippett, but he misses. Kelton rather goes behind the back. Kelton will float it up and in, my goodness. A tough shot from Tajay Kelton, but undeterred, to say the least. 35 seconds left the first half. Kelton now with 17. Under 30. Joes likely will hold for the last shot. Dunellen more than in this game. They're in it to win it. 15 seconds left. Now 10. Still, it's Schulters. Will be guarded by the much smaller Nasir Tippett. He'll pull up. That's a three. That's short. Rebound. White has to get rid of it. And Dunellen will not get a shot off, but that's all right because they will go into the fourth quarter down by just 3 points. The number one seed, the four-time defending champion, St. Joseph Falcons, are in trouble here at MCC. 34-31. St. Joe's leads Dunellen. This is GMC Hoops' coverage of the GMC tournament on RDplex, courtesy of RDplex Films. Thank you all so much for joining us. James Carrigan here. And this is something that some people expected could happen, that Dunellen would stay with St. Joe's in this game for as long as they have done so. Joe's has struggled a bit coming in. Kelton is reached into and fouled, and he drained the basket nonetheless, which will not count. Tajay Kelton has 17 points. He's been the best player on the floor by a considerable margin. Although Kayshawn Schulters, I should take that back, because Kayshawn Schulters has shined as well for the men in white, the St. Joseph Falcons. Jalen Thomas will pull up. He's hit on the arm. And Thomas will have 2 free throws. Robinson picks up the foul. Regardless of the result, so much respect has to be paid to Dunellen. And more than just respect in their state tournament bracket. They're the only GMC team that's a number 1 seed in the state tournament. North 2 Group 1. The road to that championship will run through the Shipyard. Two free throws good for Thomas. (34-33), Joe's on top. Robinson. Campbell looking down low for Olden. He'll find Olden, guarded by Kelton. Foul by Kelton. That's his third. Olden will have 2 free throws. Kelton just has to move his feet on that play a little bit more, and he would have gotten away with it. But Olden will have 2 free throws, averaging 4.5 per game. He's played well of late, 20 total points in his last 3. And that's no good. Just 44 seconds gone by here in the 4th. And he misses both, but Joes tips it in. Slowinski gets credited with the tap. A back-breaking basket for Dunellen. If you're Joes, it could be a surge. Kelton, the jumper. That won't go. White crashes the board, but Olden gets hit hard by Thomas. 6:55 left in the 4th. Dunellen just needs stops. Joes just needs to get some sort of a rhythm on offense. Thomas picks up his second. South Brunswick awaits the winner. Dunellen putting on some pressure here. Surprisingly enough, trying to force 10 seconds. They might get close, but they won't get there. From the corner, now down low. Olden misses the layup. He gets it back and makes the layup. The lead is 5, 38-33, 6.5 left in the 4th. Kelton. I'll take it in. He'll spin in the lane. Lost the ball, gets it back, misses the layup. Oh, did he need that? 6:10 left. Foul, gonna go the other way on Olden. Olden picks up his first. Dunellen just needs baskets here. The door is open for them off the turnover. Tippett, White, Johnson, Thomas, and Kelton in. It's Kelton. Jalen Thomas goes in on Olden, floats it up. That's no good. The outlet. Campbell. Campbell barrels in. Charge is given. Tippett stepping in, taking the contact, and getting the whistle somehow. The lead's still 5:40 left in the 4th. Johnson will slay it up. That's no good. That was a tough angle. Schulter's the other way. Slowinski from way downtown. It's good! Dunellen calls time. Adam Slowinski with his second three-pointer of the game to a close shortly, but we have a ways to go in this one. 5:15 left in the 4th. Joe's up 8 on Dunellen. Kelton on the drive. Kelton off balance. He gets it back. Has men in the air. Whips it up and is fouled. 2 big free throws coming up for Kelton. They just need to get him the ball inside and let him operate. That's how they found success in the first quarter. but too much coming out of the perimeter for Dunellen. Joes has been stagnant on offense, as you see the 41 points with 5 minutes left in the game. Rebounding has been lopsided towards St. Joe's as well. Big size difference between these teams, as you'd expect. The Red Division champion versus the Gold Division champion. 19 now for Kelton. Schulters with it. Into the corner. That's a three. Slowinski this time just a bit too strong. Kelton comes away with it. Weaves his way through and one! Kelton on a personal 4-0 run. Could make it 5 and could make it back to a 3-point game with this free throw. Maurice Johnson is checked back in, as is Tyree Ford, after a considerable absence for both. The N1 free throw. In and out. Lead is 4.5 left in the fourth. Schulters under some pressure. Into the corner. Down low, Ford! Four points now for Tyree Ford. 4:10 left in the fourth. Kelton, that's a three. That's his first three of the game. It's his 23rd three of the season. Lead back to 3:50 left. Dunellen fans chanting defense. Joes will slow it down. Ford. Johnson, he faces up. He'll drive the lane. Johnson nearly lost it, nearly traveled, but gets the lay-in. .325 left in the fourth. Full head of steam. Thomas to the rack. Taken away by Campbell. Perhaps not the play there from Thomas. Campbell bumped on the drive. Just the fifth foul on Dunellen in the half. 3:12 left in the fourth. First foul on Tippett. It goes to Johnson. Off the screen, Campbell. Johnson will take it in, right around Kelton. Barrels in! It's a defensive foul. It goes against Tippett. That was probably more convincing than the charge on Tippett earlier in the game that Tippett drew. 2 shots for Maurice Johnson, 3:04 left in the fourth. Johnson hits the first. The lead is 6. Time now not on the side of the Destroyers. 3:04 left in the fourth. Johnson hits both. Kelton under pressure. Thomas on the cut. Johnson looking for Kelton down low. Now it's Johnson the post touch. White is going to walk. That is a backbreaker for Dunellen. 2:42 left in the fourth. The Destroyer is now forced to press. That hardly ever works when you're playing against St. Joe's. Trying to force 10 seconds. Head of steam for Schulters. Under 2.5 left in the fourth. Timeout called by first-year coach Janka Cozziello. 2:17 left in the fourth. 47-40, Joe's on top of Dunellen. Mentioned before, the winner will play South Brunswick on Wednesday night. The games are 5:30 and 7:30, if I'm not mistaken. Stay tuned to GMC Hoops on Twitter at GMC Hoops and follow me on Twitter at RealCargan for more information on the upcoming GMC tournament schedule. 2 games coming your way Wednesday night from New Brunswick High School. We already know what the first one will be. Edison will take on St. Thomas Aquinas, the 6 against the 2. And we already know the participant of the second game, one of the participants of the second game, that being the South Brunswick Vikings. They will take on the winner of this game, St. Joe's and Dunellen. The Dunellen Destroyers right now, at this point, need a miracle with 2:17 left in the fourth. So off the Joe's timeout on the floor, it's Tippett, White, Thomas, Johnson, and Kelton in for Dunellen. And it's Schulters, Ford, Robinson, Maurice Johnson, and Campbell in for Joe's. It goes to Schulters. The cut from Johnson in the post. The kick, Ford, that's a 3. The rebound, Robinson, Johnson, the cutting, Ford, and 1! That could be the icing on the cake for the St. Joseph Falcons. 1:57 left in the fourth. The lights perhaps dimming on Dunellen's chances here in this game. That's the 4th foul on Kelton. The free throw. The largest lead of the game for St. Joe's is now 10. 1:53 left. Thomas. Johnson. A man goes down, and it's a foul the other way. Dunellen commits the foul and turn it over. And that could very well do it with 1:45 left in the fourth. St. Joe's will likely not be satisfied with their performance today, but they, of course, will take the victory any way they can get it. A team awaits them on Wednesday in South Brunswick, which defeated them by 15 points in their previous meeting. Johnson all the way. Kelton is fouled out. So that'll do it for Tyjae Kelton as he exits the floor with 24 points out of the team's 40. What an incredible performance he put on today. His season, of course, is not done. Neither is the Destroyers' season as a whole. They have championship aspirations in the state tournament in the North 2 Group 1 section, where they are the 1 seed. Front end of the 1-1 missed by Johnson. Lane violation. Excuse me, that was a 2-shot foul on Johnson. They didn't realize it. So Johnson hits 1 of 2. Under 90 seconds to play in this game. Thomas gets fouled in the backcourt. That's 2 free throws. It's the 5th foul. Excuse me, that's the 3rd foul on Campbell. It's a 2-shot foul. for Thomas at the line. And Thomas misses. Drew Johnson will check out, perhaps for a fouling situation, as Tim Godwin enters for the first time today for Dunellen. No dice on the free throws. Here comes Robinson, and he'll have the line for 2. So it seems unlikely now that a comeback is imminent for Dunellen. What they accomplished by just getting to this portion of the GMC tournament is nothing short of astounding. They became the first Gold Division champion to win in the first round since 2008, and only the second this century to do so. One of 2 for Robinson. And in doing so, they defeated a Group 4 Red Division team in Perth Amboy. Thomas misses the layup. 1:10 left. No need to foul, no need to shoot at this point. Schulters will dish. And Joes will hold the ball. Falcon fans now can sense it. They'll need to play better if they are to win this championship, that's for certain, as Dunellen will foul. Joes will have to play better to win this championship, that is for certain. But part 1 of that is getting there, and they will do just that to the semifinal round against South Brunswick. The third meeting between the Falcons and the Vikings this season will come at New Brunswick High School on Wednesday night. The winner of that game will meet the winner of Edison and St. Thomas Aquinas in the championship game this coming Friday, right back here at MCC. A free throw for Robinson. Tippett. Howie Horowitz is calling off his players. Joes will just run out this last 30 seconds. What a job done by Howie Horowitz to rebuild this Dunellen program. His first season 5 years ago, just 4 wins. This year, the second straight Gold Division title, the second straight 20-win season, and more to come in the States. But the St. Joseph Falcons continue their GMC tournament dominance. They have not lost in this tournament since 2015. They hold off the Dunellen Destroyers, and they're headed to the semifinal round. They win this game 53-40 over Dunellen. So ready to the showdown in the semis for the 3rd time this year. St. Joe's will take on the offensive juggernaut that is South Brunswick. For Dunellen, 24 points for Tyji Kelton. He's the only man on this team in double figures. 6 for Drew Johnson, 5 for Taylor, for Jalen Thomas, rather. For Joe is a very balanced effort. 10 for Campbell, 10 for Schulters, 9 for Johnson, Maurice Johnson. 10 for Slowinski off those big threes. 7 for Ford in the end. And that is the main scoring stats for St. Joe's. That'll do it for us tonight. Thank you all for joining us through these 4 games. If you have joined us through these 4 games, we'll see you on Wednesday night at New Brunswick High School. Streaming live right back here, courtesy of RD Plex Film. This is James Cargan saying so long from Middlesex County College. The GMC semifinals are set. Edison takes on St. Thomas Aquinas, and South Brunswick will battle St. Joe's.